Hi there, welcome to the Fierce Factor podcast. I'm your host, Kaylee Lindholm. And I think it's time for us women to shift the conversation in business and step into our feminine leadership to do the most iconic work the aesthetic industry has ever seen. Each week, I'll be bringing a powerful dose of strategy, sarcasm, solutions, and sass that will rev up your creativity and ignite your brilliance as you link arms with me along our shared path of personal and professional growth in 20 minutes or less. Let's go. Hello, leader. Welcome to the Fierce Factor podcast. You are tuning in to episode 123. Thank you for being here. This is Kaylee Lindholm, your host. And today we're going to talk about something really interesting, a concept around growth, this sort of definition of business growth. And I want to ask you, is your business acceleration stunting your growth as a human being? I mean, as a society, we are obsessed with growth. If you're like me, you've had to unsubscribe from most of our industry emails and archive LinkedIn conversations on the regular because you're so tired of seeing headlines like, we can help you get X number of new patients or increase your sales by X amount or double your business. You know, it cracks me up. I just don't know how a stranger honestly can claim to help me double my business. I mean, what does that even mean? Do I want to double my business? Double of what? Are we so desperate to grow that these kinds of sales pitches actually work? Sadly, I think the answer to this is yes. We are passively conditioned to focus on growth and so many other unsubstantiated and false metrics like revenue per square foot and all kinds of bullshit. And I recorded an episode about this recently called The Metrics You're Focused On That Don't Matter. I think it's episode 119. If you haven't listened to that one, please go back and check that out after this. I can't tell you how often I find good people, I mean, kind-hearted, mission-driven, compassionate, and giving business owners getting so wrapped up in the game of growth and acceleration that they completely lose sight of why they sought after growth in the first place. And I don't know, maybe it's a perspective thing, you know, having the privilege of working alongside so many ambitious women on a daily basis, women who are drowning in overwhelm, who feel out of control in their business, women who are holding everything together by a string and living in constant fear that it will all unravel if they just let go of it. And I've come to the conclusion that not all growth is healthy. In fact, there is an eminent consequence of growth, a side effect, and an impact that if you're set out to grow, you must be vigilantly aware of. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. How your business growth taking center stage could be the very thing that is holding you back from transforming into the woman you so deeply desire to become. I recently sat down with my journal to explore this idea after a conversation during a discovery call with an injector in our industry who called me in a state of complete chaos. Let's call her Susie. So Susie essentially had grown very organically. We joked that she became successful by accident, right? All she ever wanted was to have her own business, something to call hers, to become her creative outlet. She wanted to own the incredible upside of having her own patients that came to her just for her, not her boss or a business with someone else's name on the door. She sought out flexibility to travel, to take long lunches some days, to play pickleball, to run calmly through her day and control the patient flow. Yet here she found herself 3 years later with a fully booked schedule, clients texting and calling for appointments around the clock, team coming and going, and a new level of responsibility that she had never imagined. In the past 3 years, she had invested in 2 $100,000 plus devices, 3 team members, an aesthetic upgrade to her office. She had a big overhead and needed to cover that. She was working 9 to 5 with no lunch break and barreling into her house at night, ready to crash. It was passively active growth that she had experienced. And so I asked her, Susie, what happened to the OG plan, right? The business roadmap that guaranteed creativity, flexibility, autonomy, and independence. How'd you get so off track? And Susie said to me, Kaylee, I just put my head down and did my very best work every day. And before I knew it, I was growing in a way that conflicted with everything I stood for in the beginning. And now I just don't see a way out. So together we made a list, hence the inspiration of my journaling exercise. And I asked Susie to share with me what comes to mind for her when she thinks about growth. And here are some of the words we came up with together: cash, status, visibility, recognition, power, respect, leadership, dominance, impact, influence, autonomy, prosperity, riches, happiness, ease, peace, clarity, patience. And I asked her how these words made her feel. Great, she said. These are words that have inspired me to keep working hard, to grow my business, to strive for more, to achieve greatness. And I asked Susie, let's talk about that. You mentioned greatness. Do you feel great? No, she said, I feel buried and out of control. I feel far from great. And at this point, I reassured Susie that she was not unique to these types of experiences and feelings. In fact, I have been there personally. I had fallen trapped to these messages around growth that our society is feeding us, 17,000 messages a day. We don't even recognize them. We don't even have to try, and there's message. Our friends, our family, our television, our social media, our podcasts, our emails, our phone, our neighbors. It never ends. And then I asked Susie to make a list of what growth actually is, the byproduct of growth that she is experiencing now. And here are some of the words she shared with me: headaches, stress, sleepless nights, balls dropped at home, being pulled in multiple directions, a sense of urgency, rushing, exhaustion, a lack of focus, plugging holes, delegation instead of ownership of critical leadership tasks, pushing strategy to the side, putting out fire drills, ignoring bad behavior in her team. And she was silent and her eyes started to flood. And she said, wow, growth isn't all it's cracked up to be, is it? We really started to unpack the focus here, because while Susie is so committed to growing her business, what she has found is that she, Susie, is not growing at all. She's stagnant. She's waiting for her situation to change. She's spiraling. And I share this story with you, leader, because perhaps you can relate. Perhaps you have experienced the same kind of accidental success that has led you astray from your big dream. Your dream of peace, joy, love, happiness, clarity, confidence, fun, and massive intentional impact. Leader, what does growth look like for you? Does it look like Susie's list A? Things like cash, status, visibility, recognition, power, respect, leadership, dominance, impact, influence, autonomy, prosperity, riches, happiness, ease, peace, clarity, patience, confidence. And is this what you have? Or are you so busy growing your business that you are neglecting yourself? The woman who your business was supposed to energize and uplift. The woman who is going to be so fulfilled that she showed up rested and high vibe for her family every day. Where is she? And here's the thing, I'm all for business growth, don't get me wrong. But the reality is, if you're not supremely focused on growing yourself, your business will never grow. It will never do its job. It will grow like a weed and suffocate you. And guess what? No company trying to sell you their gadgets and widgets or splinter your attention and sell it as data is going to tell you that. You have to decide, who are you becoming? Look in the mirror and honestly ask yourself if you're growing with intention or by accident. And who's holding you accountable? I'm talking about daily practice of recognizing when you're going off track before you end up in a situation like Susie, where you've created a business for yourself that you simply resent. If you say you want to spend more time with your family, what's holding you back? Time? You have complete control over how you choose to spend every minute of your day. And if you're telling yourself another story, you're lying to yourself. Is it money? Do you need more money to spend more time doing the things you love? Is that true? Leader, there's a new model of growth that doesn't require you to become a slave to your business. It's a model that is deeply satisfying. It provides lucrative cash reserves and allows you to pay yourself a salary instead of being a chokehold to your accountant. It's a model that stimulates creativity and empowers others around you to love themselves. It's freeing and light. It feels aligned with your core values, and it will allow you to become the woman that you dream of becoming. But in order to access that space, you'll need to recognize what pivots you need to make that will get you and keep you on track, starting with surrounding yourself with the people who think, breathe, eat, sleep, and act in alignment with the version of growth that you see for yourself. Start spending time with people who are thinking and operating at levels with greater ease and levels of simplicity than you have ever dreamed of achieving. You need to get inspired and clear and empowered. And I can help you with that because that is what I've committed my life to doing. You are capable of designing a blueprint for your life that allows a business to substantiate that vision. I challenge you today, leader, to refocus away from the growth of your business and instead focus on the growth of you and watch your business grow from there. Okay, Goddess, thank you for tuning in. I will chat with you next week. Wait, before you go, hey, if you're vibing with this conversation and you want to join me on my mission to help 100 inspiring and intentional women cross the next $1 million milestone in their business this year, or leader, maybe you want to become one of them, head over to Facebook and join our free community, the Fierce Factor Society. Over there, we're taking this conversation to an elevated level. Get access to resource guides, podcast supplements, guideposts, and direct communication with me, my expert team, and of course, a society of fierce women making big moves and disrupting the status quo in aesthetic wellness. You can link directly through the show notes or head to Facebook and search the Fierce Factor Society. See you there, Goddess.